And yes, we have a lot of memes on no code that we're sharing on the product folks Twitter account. So do follow that, as well as the no code shorts Twitter account. Um, with that, let's dive in. So yes, ready to start or continue your no code journey. So a lot of folks here might be starting out their no code journey. A lot of folks have some experience, so we'll get into that. A bit about me before we begin. For those who don't know me, so I'm a product person basically. So I have 7+ years of product management experience post ISB. Also a no code maker. So I started building apps in no code in 2016, starting with simple automations, then building more robust apps in Bubble, Glide, Softer, etc. So have breadth of experience in all no code apps. Also, last year in April 2021, in the second wave, along with the product folks, built an app in Glide to kind of connect people with resources to life-saving like resources like oxygen beds, etc. And we were able to get that app up in just a couple of days. It was called India COVID Resources. Um, so it shows the power of no code, right? So this is one example that shows what can be possible with someone building with no code tools, and that's has an advantage over code. Code takes longer to kind of deploy. We were able to deploy this in like 1 to 2 days. um, alum of ISB and on deck. So I did the on deck no code program back in 2021, Jan of 2021. Lot of learnings from that, lot of connected to a lot of folks in the no code space, as well as a lot of the the platforms and people who kind of build the platforms on which no code is built. So with that, talking about the program schedule, we have divided it into 4 weeks. So it's it's a condensed program, um, focusing on four major parts of it in the different weeks. The first week is just to get orientation on what no code tools are, what are the different platforms, um, what are platforms that you should get started with, what are platforms that maybe you can build later on with. And also in the first week, we will also focus on getting your builder muscles strengthened. So we will have one live project that we are able to build in 1 hour or 2 hours, end to end. So that will get you, building your first app in the first week itself. And then we'll move on to, what your specific app or idea is in the remaining 3 weeks. So that's the, focus on the first week. Second week, we will get all the no code platforms like Glide, Software, and Bubble to come and talk about their platforms and what are the use cases for each platform. So each platform has their own unique strengths and weaknesses. They will come and explain what the platform is about and how you can use it. They will also do a hands-on workshop. So the focus of this program is not just information or gyan. It's about building stuff. It's about that hands-on experience with these tools. So in that 1.5 hour sessions, we want to go from 0 to 1 in building in these tools, so that you get some kind of a reference point for what what's possible in no code. And uh, throughout every week, we'll have one dedicated day, which is mostly Thursday, depending on the schedule, which will have live build hours. So you will have the opportunity to come into a virtual space, interact with the entire community, interact with me and the rest of the program team. And we also have someone who is a TPFNC1 alum, who will be the build guide for everyone. So he will be kind of curating uh, that experience for everyone. So I'll kind of give you a live demo of what that space would look like and how we could take that through. So that's generally the week plan. Um, sorry. In the third week, we will start building the apps that you kind of have the ideas for. So we will be focusing on that. We'll also be getting top mentors in each of these tools to kind of explain their journey throughout building. We have folks as diverse as, a general partner at a VC firm from the US who's going to talk about how he built automations with Software, Zapier, and OpenAI. So he's built a lot of, GPT-3 stuff that's very interesting. So he'll talk about that. We have folks who build, side projects in Bubble, and you know, and that are used by thousands of people. So those projects are not only just fringe side projects, but they're actually used by a lot of folks. And also one person who's running an agency of no code. So has his own agency where he's building for clients in Glide. So you'll get a hands-on experience into all these three different perspectives. And at the same time, you're building your same app, the app that you kind of focused on during the program. And in the fourth week, it's about learning how to put the final touches on design, how to figure out how to demo your product, during the final showcase, and also how to launch on different platforms like Twitter, Product Hunt, etc. So that's going to be the focus for the last week, and we will culminate this entire program with a showcase event where everyone has to showcase their product that they built, and there will be judges, there will be prizes. So that's a fun event that you can keep as the capstone project or the milestone that that's going to be focused on at the end. So that's the general program schedule. I will get into some of the questions. I see some questions flowing in. Let me just have a sense of it, and then I can probably cover it during the presentation. All right, so one question is who should go for the program and what the career trajectory looks like. Is this niche specific role or every domain needs their own no code? That's a great question. I'll talk about that in a bit. Not from a product background. Okay, that also I'll focus on. Any pre-work that can be done. Okay, that's something that we can cover. What will be the launch of the TPF community? How big is the community? Okay, this also we shall cover. What are some books and articles? All right, do you need prior experience? Okay, that's I think a kind of repeated question that we face. Can we really build high-end application or just MVP? Okay, that also I'll focus on in these examples. And anything needs to be downloaded or bought. Okay, that's also a question that's answered. Got it. And who's the program kind of focused on? All right, great questions. Keep them coming in. I think those are great questions. So like we talked about the program schedule, you have 12 live sessions, you have 9 no-code mentors, we have weekly office hours and co-building. So that's going to be the hallmark of the program. We have 100 plus alumni already. We have 15 hours of video content from the previous programs that you can access, as well as the the current program. We have a lot of no-code mentors who will be helping out with all these questions, and we will also talk about what has been shipped earlier, like by the members in the first 2 cohorts. So that's going to come up soon. And these are the main speakers for this entire session. We have Mariam, who's the CEO of Software. So one of the 3 main, program platforms that are there for this program. And also, globally, a lot of people use Software as their main tool. We have Andrew from Glide. He's part of the ecosystems team in Glide. He's going to talk about it. Luis Pereira is a Bubble developer that I spoke about earlier. Manan Mehta runs his own no-code agency in Glide. And Sanjeev NC is going to talk about how to launch, how to demo products. If you're on Twitter, you might have heard his name. He's quite active in the product management space. He makes a lot of videos and memes on product management. And he's one of the success stories, and he's an alum of TPFNC1. We have Sharat, who is ex Product Hunt, ex On Deck, and he's currently working at Threado as head of community. So he'll give a lot of insights into how to launch on Product Hunt. He has launched, I think, hundreds of products on Product Hunt. So he's very well equipped to answer those questions. So stay tuned for those sessions. We have Arnab Mukherjee, who's also the program director of the design program at TPF, who's going to explain how to keep design principles in mind while building your apps in no code. We have Yohai, who is the general partner at the VC company in the US. Prolific builder. He's got a unique combination of being a VC and a builder, so that's very interesting. And we have Vensi Krishna, who's a Notion ambassador, who will be taking us through a live Notion build in the first week. So you will get immediate, kind of understanding of like how to build a Notion website or workspace. Um, so that's the speaker lineup that we have, and we'll have many guest speakers as well, kind of popping in and out. Like I mentioned about the live build hours and the group office hours, we're going to do it in this space called Gather. And this is the Creator Cafe. It's extremely fun to work out of here. So we use it as a co-working space. We will be using it as our space for building and group office hours. We've also hosted a couple of events earlier, which is a build weekend by Wenzi and half day build by Lewis. So it's a good space for people to come in and out during the week or on the dedicated Thursday sessions and just hang around and interact with other people. So it's more organic than having a Zoom session. So that's the focus of these live builders in Creator Cafe. And just giving a glimpse of who all have taken the program so far. We have folks from the top universities, both in India and abroad in the US, etc., and Sweden. We have folks from top VC companies like Elevation Capital, AngelList, etc., and we have folks from multiple startups like Polygon, Swiggy, Bumble. So a lot of interesting folks have like worked at interesting places and they've been part of the program. So you'll be joining this club of people. And just to give you a small example, and I touched upon this earlier on, one of those success stories of our program was Sanjeev NC. He joined in the first program itself. He built something called MemeDB, which is just a collection of memes that was searchable and primarily targeted towards his niches of product management and a lot of Tamilian kind of memes. You must have seen on Twitter and LinkedIn he's quite active. He was able to build that in just a few days, and he used his unique strengths. So he saw that, okay, I love making memes and I have the skill of no code now post the program. Let me see what I can build out of it, right? He built that. He built MemeDB. He launched it on Twitter. He launched it on Product Hunt. And once he launched it on these two places, there was a lot of serendipity that happened. So then he got in touch with a machine learning engineer through his launch and another software developer. And through that, they've been able to take this idea and to convert it into a SaaS platform called Super Meme, which has now reached 40,000 user signups. It was number one product of the day on Product Hunt, and they've also recently hit $1,000 MRR. So I think that's like one of the main advantages of no code is you take something that's unique about you or your interests or something, use the no code skill that you gain during the program, create something, and then see where it takes you, right? So this would have likely not happened if he had not put himself out there in terms of the MemeDB. But this is just one example of how people can use this program to launch something, and then let serendipity take its course and see where it reaches you. So that is one success story. This is the focus or the structure of how things would be kind of disseminated in the program. We'll have curated content. So before every session, we'll have pre-reads and tasks that need to be done so that you are in the best position during the session and then even post the session. Focusing on hands-on workshops, like I said earlier, this will be more hands-on. So accordingly, you'll have to, like, what you put in is what you'll get out. So it's not going to be passive learning, but we need to be active learning. The office hours with me and with the program team and the alumni will be there. So to answer any questions, we have a WhatsApp group, we have a Discord community that we will add everyone to very shortly, which will help you kind of answer any questions that can be, that are like kind of hurdles for you. And then it's a lifelong community that you can interact with at any point. A lot of folks are, like just continuing to interact with people. Like you saw for Sanjeev, he's, been able to collaborate with different people through this entire community. And just touching upon some of the FAQs from, what's been asked already, and I'll answer all the questions in the chat as well at this time. What is the time commitment required is, I think, a question that I've got before. According to me, I think a minimum of 5 hours per week is required. So we have 3 sessions per week, which is around 3 to 4.5 hours per week. And then we have office hours and we have build sessions. So that's around 5 hours, you could say, per week. And then we would like you to spend the remaining time also building. So also focusing on learning and building. So if you spend 10 hours per week, I think that's a great number. Either on the weekdays or on weekends. That's something that we would kind of advise. So if you're able to not get 5 hours per week, I think, you might not be able to get the most out of this program. But if you do spend a sweet spot of, 7.5, 10 hours per week, I think that's great. I think one of the questions was, do you need to pay for any software or any platforms? So that's answered here. Most of these platforms have very generous free plans that you can use to build your MVP. I've got by using free plans for a long time, so for many platforms I've not had to pay. But then once you want to take your MVP further, there are plans for these platforms, and we will also be getting exclusive perks for extended trials or a discount plan. So that's going to kind of subsidize anything that you would need to build. I think one of the questions also asked is, what can you do with no code, as a PM or as a product person? You can create a lot of landing pages to run different experiments. Is definitely one of the main criteria. Even if you're working at a big startup, if you're working at a smaller startup, there's a lot of use cases in building internal tools, prototypes, getting things, lowering the feedback cycle, like getting feedback for your products earlier, and as well as in your side projects. So a lot of folks want to build something of their own. So before you build, dive into building your own startup, you can, use this as a way to kind of build a side project on the side and then see where it takes you. If you are a student or if you're working at a company which has a budget for learning, you should definitely take use of that. So just shoot out an email to your boss or your, university director. We've had folks, getting their sponsorship done by colleges. So definitely explore that avenue. As well as, if you have a learning budget at your organization, definitely explore that. And we will be giving you all the certificates and everything required to make that happen. And is this only for PM? So I think one question was from Safa, do you need a prior experience in product development or IT to be part of the program? Not really. So there's no code involved. So that like the name suggests, it's all about visual development. So it's about building things visually. What you would need experience with or some level of understanding is how, for example, an app has a front end and a back end. Where is the data coming from? What's being shown on the front end? And what's the logic between that? right? So we will be helping you. We'll give you pre-reads to kind of get up to speed, to kind of understand what, if you're coming from a completely non-technical background that's never worked with developers, designers, or product people. So we will be giving you pre-reads for that. So stay tuned for that. All right. So I think I'll start with the first question by Ma. Who should go for this program? What the correct career trajectory looks like? Is this niche specific role, or every domain needs their own no code, low code developers? So uh, this field is very nascent, right? So these platforms have not existed beyond 5 years. So yeah, so these platforms have not existed beyond 5 years. So it's very niche as a skill. Um, you are finding more and more people hiring full-time developers, no code developers at different companies. But what the main use case of this skill right now is that you can use this skill to build your own side projects, build your own MVPs if you're working at an early stage startup. And you can also consult with companies that want, freelance, no code developers. So a lot of requirement comes our way, or even my way, that, um, like I need a bubble developer for this, building this. So all those opportunities would come to you. So I think there are three main career paths here. One is building your own side projects. Second is, if you're a startup founder or early PM at an early stage startup, you can build MVPs and prototypes. And the third is freelancing for other people and other startups. I think those three are the main ones. We don't see full-time, kind of no code hires at the moment, but sure that can come really soon. Okay, so hope that answers your question. Let me just go back. Okay. Yeah, not from a product background. I think Priyadash, I think I was able to answer your question. Let me know if you still have any follow-up questions. I can answer that. All right. So thumbs up on Priyadash. Okay. Questions for week 4. What will the launch for TPF community look like? This is from Manjari. So the launch will be, we'll first do a showcase event to the community. So everyone from the community will be involved, both the current community and the alums. We'll do that launch. You can also launch on Twitter and Product Hunt. So that will be subsequent launches post the showcase. The product folks community is, I think, 14,000 plus members. So it's a very large community. I think that's definitely an avenue for you to kind of launch towards. And we'll also give you really good tips on how to launch on platforms like Twitter and LinkedIn, especially, so that you're able to launch publicly as well. Feedback frameworks, Manjari, you want to like elaborate on that question? I didn't understand what exactly you meant by feedback frameworks.
Hi,
Hey.
Kabir. I mean, I just wanted to check if, I mean, since you have such a large community, is there going to be like live feedback? Is there a panel? You did speak about all the mentors and the speakers through the course. So, are they going to be there, and are they going to give, give feedback at the time? I just wanted to understand what that event is like, I guess.
Sure. So there will be constant feedback throughout the program, both from the mentors, the alums, the community members, the program team. So you will have that kind of feedback flow quite often. Office hours is a way to get like one-on-one feedback also from me and from the program team. The live build sessions is another way to, offer feedback to someone else and get that from the community, get that from someone else. On the showcase event, I think the feedback is really good. So we have 3 judges that are builders, themselves. I think the feedback there, and Prasad is also here from, kind of TPFNC2. He can also elaborate on this point, that the feedback offered there is very specific and very helpful. so that you're able to use that feedback and improve the product as you go on. And Prasad, you want to share any like insights you had from your experience?
So hi guys, I am Prasad. I am the product folks no code cohort alum 2. So I was the laziest and slowest guy in the last cohort, but Tanmay and Kavi ensured that I made the MVP. So the my main aim was to like launch my portfolio website, but I went beyond that, and like I have been building MVPs for startups. Also, I'm working right now with Kavi, and the thing is the feedback keeps coming. As for Manjari, this is specifically like there are experienced guys in our community, and we have like active groups. You can like put your MVPs questions, and there are like they will be like on their toes to like give you any feedback or suggestions about anything.
Okay, thank you so much, Kavir and Prasad. That answers my question very well. Thanks.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Prasad. All right, so I'm just going through the remaining questions, quite a few. One second. Okay. All right. Question from Safa is, who is this program targeted towards? Undergrads, mid-level career professionals? So it's a bit of both. So it's anyone with an interest in no code. We don't um, focus on an experience level as such. We focus on your interest level in no code. So that can be undergrads, that can be people with just a few years experience, maybe 5 to 10. We have folks with 10, 15 plus years experience as well in the program. It's all about your interest level in no code, your focus on building, so your interest in building something in the program. And the third thing is how much time you can give, right? So if you're able to give that 5 to 10 hours a week, I think that's perfect. So I wouldn't kind of label this for any specific segment, but just these three factors would really be helpful.
I want to add a point to Safa. Safa, like last cohort, we had a CA who wanted to make an private attendance app, and she made that for her firm, and that is like working really well. And also we had like peeps from law background, also non-tech also. So you don't need to be from like the IT or product development background.
Awesome. Thanks, Prasad. Molly has a question for MVPs. How complex can these apps really be? So no code has really progressed over the last few years. You can have extremely, robust apps that you wouldn't really normally think would be built on no code. You can integrate APIs into no code. You can create a GPT-3 OpenAI app from no code. You can build a, like DALI kind of app as well. So it's less, um, it's less about like complexity can be built in, definitely. And especially for an MVP, right? So if you're still defining an MVP as something that you want to get early feedback from customers, it's the perfect match, right? It will take less time to build, and you can build complexity in it, build different workflows, and still be able to do it quickly, get feedback. And then as you progress, you can always take a kind of question on to moving to a different code platform. um, I always feel that, okay, anyone building a startup also builds it in code. Suppose they build it in code, they will always reach a point where they have to rewrite everything that they've done. So that comes both in no code and code. So you'll always find startups that are kind of rebuilding stuff that they built um, into a new language, or in a way that addresses scale. But I think scale is less of a problem when you're just thinking of a general MVP to get feedback on. Hope that
Thanks.
answers your question, Molly.
Yeah, thanks, Khalid.
All right, thanks. Kasturi has a question on resume building, PM interview prep, and networking sessions. So Kasturi, this is more like a no code building program than a pure PM program. However, there will be networking sessions that are arranged. Like I mentioned, in the live build hours is an opportunity to network with your community directly in Creator Cafe. We will also be having Grab Chai events, possibly every Friday, that you can use to network with people from the community. Grab Chai, for those who don't know, is TPF's networking initiative that launched back in you know I think April, May of 2020. And it's an opportunity for you to engage with TPF NC members as well as the broader TPF group. So that will be there in networking sessions. Resume building and PM interview prep is less of a focus, but we will have a way in which you can build your portfolio in Notion. So we will be focusing on that aspect, that you'll be able to showcase what you built or what your previous experience is on a Notion page. So that's going to be our focus in this program. Kasturi, does that answer your question? All right. Got it. Okay, just going through the remaining questions. We have quite a few. What kind of application or website can be built, for example, e-commerce? From Abhishek. So Abhishek, I think e-commerce is something that you also built with almost a no-code tool, which is Shopify. So I would say for something like e-commerce, you should look at platforms that are off the shelf that you can quickly get started with to build something like e-commerce as kind of complex as e-commerce. But with no code, you can build bunch of different kind of apps. You can build marketplaces. So you can build something that you want to connect people to. For example, Prasad built a marketplace for sneaker kind of marketplace, connecting sneakerheads with different sneakers. That's an example of a marketplace or e-commerce kind of play. You can have people who are building fully functional note-taking apps in Bubble. You have people who have built a blogging platform on Bubble. So the kind of applications that can be built are quite a few. You can build like support apps using Glide. Suppose you want to connect your customers with like your support team, that you can do using Glide. So there are a lot of different applications that you can focus on. I'll give you a list of what's actually built. So I might not be able to cover all the different applications in this meeting, but I'll make sure to share a list of things that are already built, that you can get a sense of what's possible. Abhishek, does that answer your question? Okay, I'm just trying to see the chat as well. Okay. Can we build any app website that allows us to sell and trade digital products like PDF notes and photos? You could possibly build something like this. I think that would be possible using Bubble. You can also consider, using like off the shelf. So off the shelf platforms like Gumroad are also there. If you're building something for yourself alone, that might not be fully, like, you might not see this as the right approach to it. But if you're building a platform that everyone else can use, then definitely I think you will be able to use it with Bubble. Okay, let me go back and answer Prateek's question next. Is there a more detailed syllabus on specifically what would be covered in the no-code tools? So Prateek, we have the program calendar that's shared with you. So we are focusing on 3 of the tools and hands-on sessions in each tool. You can also think of this less as like a course, so this is less about a syllabus and talking through each of the different points within that, but more of a program that allows you to get hands-on experience and build something directly. So all of the workshops are designed to cover 1.5 hours of actual building stuff.
So here's the thing. So I'm already in a product role, but I see the main use case for me as being create internal tools. Yeah.
Okay.
Not really even creating prototype, because I'm in the gaming industry where it's
Yes.
hard to build a prototype with no code.
Yes.
I mean, if there are specific applications in gaming that, I mean, we spoke earlier, right? So
Yes.
I'm not sure if gaming would have like direct prototype level applications, but
Yes.
I do feel that internal tools for the company that I work in, that could be quite useful.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if I'll immediately have a project that I can work on,
Okay.
but I would still like to learn. That's why I'm thinking of it more as a course, you see.
Got it. Fair enough. So, internal tools, I think no code is the best use case for that. Like I give you an example of, a support tool that, you can connect your customers with the customer information that you have, and that can be built using Google Sheets.
Hmm.
So you don't need to connect it to a database. Suppose you're running a small business, for example, and you have all your information in a Google Sheets. You can build an internal tool on top of that. There are a lot of use cases that we can discuss in terms of internal tools. And if you have anything specific in mind, you can kind of let me know. I can kind of tell you whether that's possible, and then you can kind of take a look. But if you're also just wanting to learn and kind of
Yeah.
discover what you could build later, that's also fair. I think
All
that's
right.
fine.
Sure. That answers my question. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Prateek. All right. Someone whose name is not visible saying, I don't have an MVP idea for such for now. Would the course be still useful to me? I think that's also answered, with Prateek's question. If you just want to learn something, I think that's also an avenue. So you will get hands-on experience on 3 different platforms. You can build, in the first week, we have a common build that we want everyone to do. So you don't have to have a different idea. You can build what the common idea is and get learning straight away from there. So in that aspect, it will still be relevant to you in terms of the learning, and then you can connect dots later and try to figure out what you want to build later. But also know that the showcase event will be something that is showcasing people's actual builds, so their MVP ideas. That will be something that may not be accessible to you if you're not able to build something by then. But I'm hoping throughout the course of the program, an idea gets sparked within you, and you're able to build something, even if it's small, and be able to present in the showcase day. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay, Kasturi has a question. But when it's say no code PM, it's clear, but when it's with code, what's the language program which is needed? Okay, so this is entirely no code, so there's no coding language required. So I think that should answer your question. We're using the top 3 platforms that are out there, and you don't need to know any coding language for it.
Hi, Kavir, Kasturi here.
Yes,
Yeah, thanks for answering that question. So my ask here was that, so as you mentioned that we do not see much of the like no code PM as a full-time role. So in that scenario, like I have seen somewhere, like in most of the forums where they ask for technical product manager. So is it what is no code, or like will it require some knowledge of programming language? So that was my question.
Okay, got it. So from my understanding, technical PMs are PMs with more than the average, knowledge of tech, basically of coding or databases. They've been an engineer before. That's when people are selected for these technical product manager roles. They also focus very heavily on, say, if the platform is a platform for coders, for example, say GitLab, GitHub, you may need more technical PMs over there. Uh, that's kind of, we are not focusing on that aspect. However, some level of no code knowledge, if you're completely non-technical, will help you get those roles, because you can showcase that, hey, I've been able to build something, and build and ship something with no code. uh, that may give you a slight edge over someone who is completely non-technical. But from my understanding, those roles are still cater towards people who have a prior engineering background or coding experience, or they've showcased a lot of that ability to understand the tech more closely. So I don't think that's a major part of what we are focusing on. All right, so I'll just move on to the next question. So Mohil has a question: are no-code apps as competent as coded apps when it comes to utility, or is it mostly centered around UI? So I definitely think in terms of utility, it's right up there. So you can build fully functional no-code apps. In fact, the opposite is at play. So a lot of the, say, an iPhone app or an Android app, they will be really polished if they are in the native code, right? So that user experience at the moment is not possible with no code. That can only be got with coded apps, especially on phones. So you don't have that same level of performance and slickness for a mobile app in code than you would have like a no code app, which is essentially a web app. So on the UI or UX experience, I think it's a bit lacking there. But obviously things are progressing fast, and more platforms will be able to build apps that are as performant or as good in UX. But when it comes to utility, I think you can deliver the same utility in no code. And you can think through your own workflows or think through user flows and try to understand, can you develop this utility with the no code app? And maybe it won't have the best user experience, but I think it will still be able to deliver value that way. So Mohil, I hope that answers your questions. If you have any follow-ups, do let me know.
All good, Kavi. You can go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Mohil. All right. So can we see application or website made from these no-code tools? Yes, Abhishek. So we'll be sharing a list. So we have a showcase that you must have received in the email of what apps were built by our previous members. And that was again built in that 4 weeks, 5 weeks program. So you can get a sense of, what's possible in 4 or 5 weeks, because you have to also, you're going from 0 to 1, right? You're also trying to figure out your idea. You're trying to validate your idea. You're learning new no-code tools, and you're able to, and I think Prasad has shared that link, or Tanmay shared that link in the chat. So have a look at that showcase, and kind of understand what's possible as an MVP for the first 4 or 5 weeks, because you're going from 0 to 1 in terms of no code building experience, validating your idea, and then building and shipping, iterating, and getting it up to speed. So that link should help you, and we'll also give you examples of what people have been able to build over course of time, or people who are more skilled, and then you'll be able to see what can you do in these 4 or 5 weeks and what's possible beyond that. So you'll get a fair picture of what's possible. All right, I think Badri has a question on unique strengths of these 3 platforms. I think yes, that's something that we will cover during the program. We'll focus on what are the different use cases for each of these platforms, and where you can fit it in with your idea. So that's definitely going to be shared later. All right, so I think those are the questions in the chat. Any other questions, please feel free to come off mute right now. We have a few more minutes in this AMA. Please feel free to drop it in the chat or come off mute. Any other questions? I think quite a few questions were asked, so I think everyone's kind of satisfied with that. Any other questions, feel free to either ask it on email or in the WhatsApp group. So if you're not part of the WhatsApp group, please join that. So definitely ask that. Yeah.
So going by the schedule, is the format more like each week we learn basics together about like one of those platforms, and then we keep building in that platform like an assignment for that week? Is that how it is?
Yes. So I think the objective of the at least the second week, which is when all the platforms come in, it's about the tools kind of explaining how, like, they're taking a hands-on workshop on their platform. Now you have to see whether your technical ability or your grasping ability matches with complexity of the different platforms. And there is a hierarchy. So software is, say, the easiest, glide is somewhere in the middle, and bubble is the most complex, and is you can achieve much more with bubble. So we have these three as options. And then during the workshops you're able to learn the tool directly, and also figure out, is this the right tool for you or not? And then you can take your own decision on which tool to go ahead with your own build, as well as take our feedback and advice. So if you're confused at all, we will help you. We'll just take a decision for you. So I think in the first two cohorts there has also been okay, we are still trying to figure out which tool to use, but in this cohort we're going to address that really quickly, and take that decision for you if you're kind of stuck. So does that answer your question, or you have any follow-up? Please feel free to ask.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so I think the second session in the program is about exploring that entire tool set, and then we'll keep it very interactive. We'll have a lot of Q&As, and if you can explain what your use case is, and then I can help you, and the program team can help you kind of decide which platform to actually go towards, so that you optimize the time you're spending in the program to focus on the right tool for you. So yeah, I think that's going to be our focus. And we'll also have an onboarding form for those who are already part of the program, those who have signed up. So that onboarding form is very robust. It kind of explores what you want to build, what's your current level of proficiency, and that will give us a very good starting point to kind of address all of these questions, give you suggestions on what tool to use, what tool to kind of just stay away from. So all of that will be answered. All right, so see some activity in the chat. Any other questions? Feel free to ask right now, or we can also close this session. We've shared the WhatsApp link in the chat, so you can definitely go there and join the group and see what's happening, and then take a call if you've not already signed up. So I hope this kind of answers most of your questions. This kind of AMA. Just gonna go through a few more slides. This is kind of the love that we've received in the last previous two cohorts. Sharing that with you, and yeah, feel free to ask any questions, and just hope that this session was helpful for you to make a decision on whether to join the program or not. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask either using the email or in WhatsApp, anywhere. So I'm accessible and will help you make the right decision. So if you're able to get the most of the program, I think we would love for you to join in. And I think Tanmay shared a link in the chat for you to apply, and if you've already applied, where to get the sign up link from, and the payment link, so you can definitely access that. And any parting words, anything from Prasad, Tanmay?
Tanmay, you go on first.
Hey, yeah, thanks so much, Kabir, for bringing this up. So personally talking about me, again, it has been extremely, grateful. I've been extremely grateful to have been a part of NC2 cohort last season. Honestly, it was a truly a transformative experience for me, as I learned so much about the no-code platforms, along with the ways in which they can be used to build innovative solutions. The icing on the cake was 101 with Kavir, where we used to get real build assistance on working on the projects. So yeah, that was really a fun for me, and wishing all of you a truly an experiential journey this season as well.
Badri has a question: is Tanmay a rich builder?
Yeah, he's one of the most like power builders
Oh,
in
Loda.
no
Okay.
code.
Okay. Now I got the reference.
Okay,
He's
the experience from the last no code cohort has been like quite empowering for me. Like as I said, like I wanted to build a portfolio website, and like today I can build that thing in like in mere 2 hours. That's the bare minimum which you can do after you learn no code. You will get to learn Notion, which is kind of a second brain, and which is like a like Google Docs on steroids. And the highest point one can get is like people are cloning Twitter, Linktree, and other Instagram on Bubble platform, the no code Bubble platform. And one of the funniest thing which I shared in the chats is that someone cloned Twitter on Bubble, and they were sharing that on Twitter, and Twitter banned that thing. So that is the power of no code. Like, and I was like blown away, like when I saw that in our session that we can like clone those websites, and people were building that in like 2 to 3 days, and that was like very functional websites. Yep.
Yes, thanks for bringing that up. I think we'll share those links also with you all. Different clones of, say, Airbnb, of Twitter, all that's kind of built in no code, and really funny to see that the Twitter clone was banned on Twitter. I think that's all Elon's doing. So yeah, so we'll share those links as well. I think that's about it. I think we'll wrap it up. Just a couple of minutes to go. So thanks everyone for being part of this. Badri has a comment. Half as productive as you. I think, yeah, I think Prasad was one of the stalwarts of like the last cohort, been able to maximize the use of the program and build different things and continue building also different things. He's also the creative force behind No Code Shots newsletter. So a lot of he's more ingrained into the ecosystem than most other people. So a lot of the latest updates is something that what we curate and we'll share with you everyone in this program as well. So yeah, thank you everyone for being part of this, and just feel free to drop any questions if you have, either on email. I'm at Kavir at the Product Folks, or on Twitter or on WhatsApp, and hope to see you in the program. And all right, take care. Thanks a lot.